Hi, it's Gilala here. I am doing another video for the Great Centaur Gallery. The previous video was very much based on the last location. As you may or may not know, that sim has now gone and we're on a new sim, Chances, which is where I am today. I'm hoping I won't have to do a new video every time we change location, and so I'm hoping that this video will cater for subsequent locations, but if it doesn't, then I'll make more. So the concepts are the same, but the location might be different. Okay, so I'm on Chances. I'm actually in the Glenstorm area, and you can see here, if I zoom out a little bit, I'm in the camp area of Glenstorm. Previously, I made a little kind of scene, if you like, and you clicked on the scene to sit on it. But I thought it's so pretty here that we're going to make use of the scene as it is. So there's actually an invisible sitting thingy now, okay? And it's actually between these two tents and slightly to the right of that tree. If you hover your mouse around in this area, you'll see that there's a little sit icon comes up, okay? And if you sit on there, it'll go into a pose, okay? Now, as before, the first thing we need to do is change our view angle of our camera. So you can use the camera tools little tool thing here, which you can pop on your toolbar from the toolbar buttons. Okay, it's the little one with like a video camera on it. And the view angle we need to put at 0.272, okay, which brings us in nice and close. And then the left hand button on the HUD, and the HUD will be in the pack that will be nearby to the location, or I might put it in the actual landing point of Chances and you'll see it there. So I'm going to choose a camera angle here. I'm in the lighter, and you will need to press escape probably. There we go. You can choose a camera angle that's right for your size of centaur. You can kind of fiddle about and see which one works for you. The teeny taur and the sempititor obviously come in really close, and the dragator is probably the furthest away to fit in wings and things. Okay, I'm actually going to use the lighter setting for here, but as you can see, I'm not on the ground properly, which is affecting the fact that I'm not in the whole view of the camera. So around where my feet are, and careful that I don't click on the actual HUD again, I'm going to click down here and it brings up some poses for you, okay? There are more poses in here than there were before. So if you click forward to the next page, you'll see some different ones, okay? And there are poses for the teeny taur, petit taur. Pose and pose 2 will work for the normal centaur or the sen lighter. Drago obviously is for the dragator. And all of these, like light 1, light 2, leap 1, leap 2, stance 1, 2, 3, and mirror, those should all work for the lighter and the standard centaurs, okay? So if I choose one here, you see that takes me down onto the ground a little bit better, but I'm actually in the ground now. And I've put some leaps in there as well now, okay? You can choose those if you want. So let's choose that one, but I'm going to adjust it slightly. I'll press adjust, go to pose, and then I can adjust myself slightly there. It's not too bad actually. You can actually adjust your rotation as well. Sorry, my dialog box keeps popping off. I've got my screen wide. So you can kind of move around a little bit as well. What I actually want is that's better. There we go. Yeah, that's better. Okay, so I'm happy with the pose of my centaur. And the right hand button on the HUD will bring up a dialog box for your upper body poses. Now again, I've put more poses in here because I've put in poses for the left and right now. Okay, so we needed upper body poses that go left and right as well, or straight. Now this one, I'm looking fairly straight at the camera, so I want a kind of fairly straight body pose. You can see if I choose like pose 4, she's looking over there, which is no good. So ideally, we want the person to be looking at the camera. Okay, that's quite important so that we get a continuity in the photos for the Great Centaur Gallery. It's great to have variation, and I've put more poses in there so that there's variation. But there are certain things we want the same. And one is camera angle. The other is looking at the camera, and also the size of the photo. There are some mirror poses in here which look over to the other side, but again with this pose, because she's looking quite forward, I think I'm going to go for one of these stand straight. You can also use your own upper body poses. So if you've got animations in your inventory poses, you can use those, probably for a bit of a more advanced user. But what I would say is whatever pose you use, please just make sure that you are looking in the direction of the camera. You don't have to be looking straight at it, but you know, in that general direction. So I'll show you some of these are going to be completely inappropriate. That's not bad. So she's not really looking at the camera there, so I probably wouldn't use that one. No, looking away from the camera, don't want to use that one. Looking away from the camera again. So these are the ones, so I'm just demonstrating to you how some of these would be appropriate and some of them wouldn't. That one's not too bad. I would prefer it looking a little bit more towards the camera again. That one you could get away with. Okay, so she's looking in the general direction of the camera. Quite like that. I'm going to leave that one there. Looks like she's in mid running. There's an interesting thing to point out here, actually. So I'm wearing a Janus head here and a doe hair, and I quite often find that the eyelashes get an alpha glitch here. If that happens, I've found that if you click on edit on the head, it will make it go away, but you will need to press escape to get back your camera angle straight away again. Okay. You can also fiddle around with your facial expressions and do whatever you want there. I don't know what some of these are like. Oh, perhaps not that one. Okay, so these move the head as well, so that's not particularly good for us. Don't want that one. Well, poses is probably better. Make her look surprised. What's she gonna look like? See if I can move my HUD over a little bit. Every time you click on edit to edit something, you will lose your camera angle. So if you do that, just press escape and it will go back. I was just moving it over there so that I can see what I'm doing. That one's okay. We'll go with that. Okay, now you can see that it's a little bit dark. Can't really see her very well. So what I've also added to the HUD is some lighting. Okay, and there are 3 lights. So you use one that's appropriate for the height of your avatar. If you're very tall, you might want to use the top one. Whee! There we go, look. If you're middle height, like I am here, we might want to use this middle one. And if you're teeny tall or petite tall, you might want to use the lower one. Okay. You can also experiment with the different lighting looks. I mean, this actually looks quite nice with the light slightly below. So again, you can get a slightly different look for yourself depending on how you like yourself. I'm just going to move my eyes. She's changed her expression now. There we go. Okay, so now we have our camera angle correct. We have the pose of the centaur that we want, and it's in the correct position. We've chosen an upper body pose, and we've got lighting. So we're kind of ready to take a photo. Now, with your size of photo, we want to get the best quality, okay? There's a difference between the proportions of the picture as they go into the gallery, which are all the same, okay, and the size of the photo, which is its kind of digital size, if you like. So I tend to make mine around 3000 width, okay, but it really will depend on the how your computer copes with that. Similarly, you might want to go into high quality. Let me just show you that, okay. You see my eyelashes there have done their thing again. Ooh. So we do want to try and make sure that we've got some good background in here. I've put the ship in the background, and there's the pier there and some greenery. And also the sim surround is showing here. If you have your graphics too low, some of that may not show. So if I go into low graphics, so here you can see quite a lot has disappeared. If you find that you're unable to go to a level of graphics that is useful, then just shout in the group or whatever, and I will be doing, or keep a lookout in the group, because I will be doing some photo shoots where I will take them for you, for those people that have any issues with that. Not everybody's got a computer that can, take the best photos, and we want you to have the best photos here. So it's a really good idea to just try and get as much as you can, but if your computer's not up to it, have a look out in group and see when I'm doing a photo shoot for people. For the more advanced users of you, you are welcome to fiddle around with your wind light. But again, as I've said in the previous video, if you saw that, please make sure that the background is fairly sort of hazy, so that we've got some nice background there. You've got the ship in the background, so don't, obscure that. That would be a shame to lose the ship. But you can sort of play around with the colours a little bit. Again, just please make sure that you've got a background that is nice and hazy, and not too, not like this where we've got very sharp background. So you can adjust your distance multiplier, your density multiplier to adjust that. And if all that seems a little bit too complex, just stick with the wind light that's on the sim. Okay, so I'm happy with that. We'll take another photo there and save that one. And that's the main part of the photo taking done. Now, if you have photo editing software, then you can edit the photo and put it into the correct size, as in the correct dimensions for the gallery. If you're worried about that, just send it to me and I will crop it correctly for you. I'm going to show you how to do that just now. So it doesn't matter what photo editing software that you use, whether you use Photoshop or GIMP. Here I'm using PicMonkey, which is just what I tend to use for quick editing online. And the proportions for this are 5:7, okay? So it doesn't matter, you can crop in a little bit if you like and make it so that you fill that frame nicely, but the proportions must be 5:7, okay? So we'll just crop that one. And if you want to, you can give it a thin white frame, okay? No other color, just a thin white frame. I tend to go around sort of 16 here, but what I've come to realize after the last video I did is that obviously the larger in digital size your photo is, the larger your frame will need to be. So, but this sort of size, just a very simple white frame around it. You can do a little bit of editing if you want. You know, I'm quite happy with that photo, but you might want to give it a little bit. Put your frame on after you do your editing, please, otherwise it won't be white. So let me just show you that. So I'll take the frame off, do my editing first. That's all fine. Might give it a little bit. You don't have to do any of this, okay? If you just take your photo and send it to me, that's fine. So once your editing is done, then put the frame around so that it's nice and white. Okay. And that's it. When you've got your photos, please send them to me so that I can add them to the various social media galleries, and they will feed through then to the Great Centaur Gallery on the website. So you can get them to me either by Discord, okay, in the Discord server, you can send them to me there, or you can email them to centaurgallery@jinxsl.co.uk. So have a bit of fun with it. Don't stress over it, okay? The idea with the Great Centaur Gallery is that everybody has a similar look to their photo. If I show you already what we've got there. So all of these photos were taken on the previous setup, okay? And you can see that although there's a wonderful variety of looks to the different centaurs, the concept around the photo is the same. The size, the proportions of the photo, the camera angle of the photo are all pretty much the same, okay? And that's the idea behind it. You can see that some people have adjusted the wind light behind them to have a slightly different look, okay? Some people have used their own poses. And yeah, there's such a variety, but all of the photos still fit in with this idea. So there will be new locations and new photo opportunities in the gallery so that they're not all the same location, okay? And obviously now we'll start to see different ones coming in this new location. A word about what will be included and what won't be included in the gallery. Each photo that you take needs to be a different look, okay? And when I say look, I'm talking about the whole look. So not just your outfit or your hair or your skin on the centaur or whatever, but as a whole thing. So if you want to include multiple photos in the gallery, you can, but each photo must be a different look, so that it doesn't look like the same centaur, okay? Otherwise we'll end up with multiple photos of the same looking centaur and it kind of loses its originality. Okay, so if you've got a different look, go for it. You can put as many different looks into the gallery as you like, but please don't send multiple photos of the same look. Have fun with it. If you've got any questions, please ask in the Ancient Order of Centaurs group or the Jinx group, or go to the Discord channel and we can answer your questions in there. Or you can send a message to Jinx Storebot resident. If you send messages to Jinx Storebot, then your message will be circulated to me and all of my staff, and then one of us can get back to you as soon as we can. Okay, have fun with it, and I really look forward to seeing your photos.